No. Anyway.
Do you know who Rick Scott is?
Rick Scott is, yes, he's a really rich senator from Florida.
Yeah.
Former governor. Okay, what's your point? Yeah, rich people support him. Okay, your point?
Well, it's not even just that, sir. I mean, are you aware that, you know who Josh Hawley is, right?
Yes, senator from Missouri.
Both of these are Republicans, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're aware that Josh Hawley introduced a bill that was called the Honest Act in order to get money out of politics, as far as politicians, specifically Congress, right? Once they're in office, they can't use any knowledge to trade or buy stocks, right? Like going forward, if this passed. So this would literally stop the insider trading that everyone's always accusing people in Congress of doing, right?
But they do it.
Correct. I'm not denying that. I'm not denying that at all.
Which is why the bill won't pass. I mean, you got to have these people vote on it, and why would they vote on it if they're getting benefits from it?
Okay, but they are actually, like...
Well, it didn't pass.
No, it passed the committee. But, so that's what I wanted to go on about, right? Is the fact that, very interestingly, right, not only did Rick Scott vote against it and then primarily spoke out about it, saying that you guys are trying to keep businessmen, rich people that are already rich, from wanting to make more money by going into Congress, right? Like he basically admitted that the reason why he went into Congress was just to make more money, just to continue to basically steal from the people by using his insider knowledge to buy and sell and trade stocks, right? Like, you want to say that somehow Donald Trump is proving that he's for the lower middle class or the working class, as you put it, when that's categorically untrue, because he's the one that also spoke out against the Honest Act, said that it shouldn't pass, right? Even though it's not even going to affect him. There is a part in there about the vice president and the president also being included in this, but it won't affect them at all, because specifically it could affect J.D. Vance, but it won't affect Donald Trump, because it specifically said that it's upon re-election or the next election cycle, Donald Trump can never be elected again as president. So it's not going to affect him at all. Yet he still spoke out against it, so he's actually not doing anything to keep money out of politics.
I personally don't care if money's in politics. Money's going to be in politics regardless.
You just said that he was getting money out of politics, so...
No, I didn't. I never said that. I never said he got money out of politics. I just said he was for the working class.
You didn't just say that. You literally said he was getting money out of politics.
No, I didn't. I never said that at all. I mean, Donald Trump funded his first primary campaign. I mean, he proves that money really doesn't affect the outcome necessarily, especially at a president level, because both Hillary Clinton outspent him. Now, this last election was probably close, but a lot of people, new people like Elon Musk, came on board. So money in politics, that's never going to happen. You're talking about a fantasy land. That the Congress will never vote on that. They benefit from it.
They literally did vote on it, though. Like, they did vote on it. It passed committee, because it passed committee, and now it's going to go up to the floor for a debate and a vote. But you actually still literally said about keeping money out of politics.
So I guess if it does pass and then Trump signs it, you'll give him credit for that, right?
If he would actually sign it, yeah. Like, you think I'm incapable of giving Trump credit for things? I give him credit for the fact that he made animal cruelty a felony. I think that's awesome. That's the fucking best thing ever. I also give him credit for doing Operation Warp Speed in his first term. You know what would be the best thing that he could actually do, aside from sign that bill if it passes Senate, despite the fact that he should unequivocally endorse it, right? Unequivocally endorse the bill, because it would solve the issue that everybody accuses the Democrats of doing. They forget that the Republicans also engage in the same tactics, and fucking Rick Scott basically out and out admitted that on the Senate floor, which to me, again, is just crazy that anybody is okay with this. Why did that turn off?
I noticed that you talked about a bunch of Republicans, but you also didn't mention one Democrat, which we all know.
What, Nancy Pelosi? Woohoo! Yeah,
Oh,
Pelosi sucks. I hate her. Like, and
I mean, a bunch of them do. I mean, that's why
yeah, I think
it's
there's
not
another
like all
one
the.
that I can't remember how to say his name, and I always mess it up, so I feel bad. So I like don't actually say their name. But again, this specifically, like, guess what? It passed committee because 7 Democrats voted for it. They specifically
And we'll,
said that they support it. So it's very
but
funny that you would bring that up. Like, yeah, no, the
you don't know
Democrats
if it
suck
won't
too.
pass.
I'm
It
not a
might pass
Democrat.
though.
Okay.
It might
How
pass,
about
and it might be
oh
muted.
gosh. Hold on a second, okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's see. Trying to see. Okay,
And
7 minutes.
Trump did talk about this, and he did. I remember him talking about this, and he didn't say he wouldn't support it, but he also didn't say like he didn't support it either. He kind of like said he needs to learn more about it. He's talked to Josh Hawley about it, and I mean, we'll see what happens. I would be for it, but I just don't think it's ever going to pass. Am I still on hold?
No, you're not on hold. I'm just trying to
Oh,
find
sorry.
something real quick. You can just hold on.
It is. Oh, sorry.
It just requires me to be muted. So well, I mean, I
Did
don't
no
like
one hear
hearing my own
that?
voice, but this part's not needed. Let's see.
But I
Nope, that
mean,
part.
do you agree that the Democratic Party has lost the working class?
I'm not a Democrat, so I don't care.
I'm not saying you are or not, but you're obviously in opposition to Trump, and I mean, we do live in a two-party system. So if you're in
Okay.
opposition to the president,
I'm in
I mean,
opposition to someone doing bad shit. And
well, who did you vote for the last three presidential cycles? I mean, you might not have
not
been
for
old enough to
Donald
vote. I don't
Trump
know.
because I've never supported Donald Trump. Like, I'm
Did you
sorry
vote for Biden?
again. Oh wait, so are we saying that someone's political party is automatically affiliated with the party that they voted for?
Well, I would say you just like how you're saying we need to justify our support for Trump. You should justify your support for the person
Who's
you voted for
who's the
too,
sitting president right now?
Donald Trump. Thank God.
Oh, okay. So Donald Trump is the president. Sorry, I'm trying to fix this light. I don't know why it just turned off
So,
on me.
no, and it's a valid reason. Are you saying the only reason you voted for Harris or Biden is because they weren't Donald Trump?
Right, because I don't support Donald Trump or his policies.
I mean, that's a reasonable thing. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't
Yeah.
vote third party. I mean, there is a
Why?
line where you
Because
could vote.
third party is never going to get elected. And so
True,
therefore, and
valid.
I've told friends this, it's throwing away your vote. It's well, actually, the best way to throw away your vote is if you're in one of the 49 states that don't recognize write-in candidates. That's really throwing away your vote to then do a write-in candidate if you're in one of the 41 states that don't recognize write-in candidates. That's a legit throwaway of your vote. Third party candidates are never going to win. Jill Stein is a fake. She runs every election cycle to do what? Just campaign, make money, and then never win. Like,
Yes.
she hasn't done anything in her own towns. Like, she's never run for any other political office. And see, here's the thing that annoys me when people such as yourself come up here and be like, you have to justify your vote for whomever you voted for. No, I don't. Like, this is to talk currently about who's the sitting president. This show is about me asking you questions and you explaining it because I want to get inside the logic, potentially, the logic of Trump voters and try to drill down on like what's going on and what people believe. It's not about like, oh, so now you want to like similar when people ask me, why did you vote for Harris? I'm like, because I actually agreed with her policies, but even then Kamala Harris is currently irrelevant. She's not running for office. She's not running for office anywhere. She's not running for office as governor, anything like that. She's not touching that stuff, right? So she is irrelevant. So when I'm asking people to quantify exactly why they still support Trump 8 months into his administration, I want a real reason to understand why they're okay voting for somebody that lied multiple times on the campaign trail about what he was going to do, what he could accomplish, etc., instead just isn't doing what he promised for the most part, like the number of lies that he's already told that he's not kept up with, right? But unfortunately, just like the first guy, it seems like you're not able to really quantify what he's done well and then prove it, like how he managed to do it.
Oh, I could.
Sure.
I mean, first, I mean, I was just curious because I've listened to you and you've said that you don't really affiliate with either party, but I've never heard you explain why you would vote for Harris. But now that makes sense.
You haven't listened a lot, right? So
Well,
I only talk about like, there we go. It somehow got unplugged. Yeah, no, I say it like there's a point where it needs to be on a recording because of how many people can't back up their own point. So they always ask me, even though, like I said, I can actually give good credit to Donald Trump on what he's done in his prior administration. So far in his current administration, he's done shit that I can support.
Well, I mean, I know you disagree with immigration. I think just having a president that says, hey, you're not welcome here if you don't come legally, I think that
but he's not just trying to get out illegal immigrants. He's actively pulling legal status from immigrants that came here the legal way in order to deport them. Where did they lie? Wait, how can you know that 530,000 people lied if we're not looking at them on a case-by-case basis, and we just did a mass revocation of what they put on, like, of their status? That's not saying that they lied, sir. That's a mass revocation of their status, meaning that they weren't. Do you think that really the State Department looked at all individual 530,000 cases that when they pulled legal status? Really?
Well, no, maybe not all of them, but I mean, some of the cases you're talking about, Marco Rubio have said that to be a legal citizen, to get a green card, to be a student, to get a student visa, you were asked questions, and they stated that, yeah, we hate America, and yeah, we support these terrorist groups like Hamas, they would never have been allowed in the country in the first place. But of course, in these processes, they just come and say all these nice things, and then when they get into the country, they go and protest for Hamas and stuff. These people should not be in this country. I mean, that's a straight up lie.
There's a difference between protesting on Free Palestine and protesting for a terrorist group. If someone was literally protesting for a terrorist group, then absolutely. Any terrorist group, right? Any terrorist group, which at this point I would also consider the IDF a terrorist group because of the shit that they're doing. Well, they're committing ethnic cleansing, so there is that too. But even if you're talking about, it's not my opinion, sir, mass starvation actually does fall under genocide. If you actually look at what's considered genocide, that actually is, right? So it's not my opinion. It's not my opinion. Palestine's an open fucking air prison.
If Palestine wanted to be free, it'd be pretty simple. The citizens of Palestine should give up Hamas. Then the war would be over.
Oh, yeah, just somehow give up people that they really don't know where they're at specifically, while Israel is still dropping bombs on hospitals. Also a war crime to kill women and children, non-combatants is a war crime, sir. To go out of your way to murder non-combatants is a war crime, right? Israel recently announced again that specifically they were just going to take over Gaza completely, and they're now trying to get rid of every single individual in Gaza, point blank period, and not let them come back. Just like what Donald Trump put out on his Truth Social with his whole Trump Plaza or Trump Gaza thing. Like, no, sir, that is still, guess what, illegal. You're just going to move people to a whole other country. Right, that's gross.
A single dollar of our taxpayers to go to that, we would probably agree.
Oh, we fund the fuck out of Israel across this country. And then guess what? Guess what? The best part is I'm sure you support AIPAC, right?
And no.
No?
I'm not a big Israel supporter. I'm sorry. I think they should be. I mean, I'm sorry, but the Hamas is a terrorist group.
Did I say that they weren't? I literally said any terrorist group, and I included Hamas within that. Congratulations. It's not me denying it. I like how they just feel like I deny something just because I said that.
I never said you did. I never said you did.
Sure.
But if there was a group of terrorists in our country, say in Indiana, and that group was attacking another state of ours, And all they had to do is give up 50,000 of this terrorist group that's killing all these or making these terrorist attacks.
You would have to assume that they know exactly where they're at. You think that they don't move?
You don't think these people know where these at? You act like Gaza's a big place.
It's an open air prison, sir. Even if they said they moved,
yeah,
like let's say that they just want to give them up. The citizens are literally being murdered by IDF and Israel forces, right? They're being murdered, right? So yes, the GHF, when they were doing their humanitarian shit and having lines for food trucks, right, for people to come and get food, the IDF was standing outside those lines and shooting at civilians and just shooting into the crowd. They had no proof that Hamas was there. None whatsoever. And so they were just killing and unaliving, right? Sorry, TikTok friendly language. Unaliving innocent civilians that were just trying to get food.
I agree with all that, and all of this is horrible.
Sure.
It's awful. And you say sure. I mean, I'm not supporting. I would not want a single dollar of us going to Israel. They could obviously take care of themselves.
Then you should have never voted for Donald Trump.
Well, that's not true, because then you act like the Democrats did anything different.
Oh, no. The Democrats are fucking ass for the shit that they did. Like, I'm not going to deny it, but at least the Democrats didn't send F-15s to Israel to help them in their strikes on Gaza, or send the 5,000-ton bombs to Gaza to do even more damage than the 2,000-ton bombs that freaking Biden authorized. So, fuck you. No, he did more.
Country.
Donald Trump is the one that sat down with Netanyahu while he was on the presidential campaign and told Netanyahu to finish it. Guaranteed Netanyahu that he would get a blank check to, quote, finish the job. But yeah, you still voted for that. But you don't support Israel, but you're sure as shit doing that. Yeah.
That's how bad the Democrats are.
They're not.
Just as bad as you think Trump is, that's how bad I think the Democrats are.
Oh, wait, did any Democratic candidate say that they were going to give Netanyahu a blank check? Did I miss that? Which Democratic candidate said that they were going to give Israel a blank check?
That's one issue.
What Democratic candidate told Netanyahu they were going to give them a blank check? Or did I miss the fact that actually they didn't even meet with them?
What does that have to do with our country? I was more worried about that. I don't care less.
Gotcha.
Both parties were going to support Israel. One party is a little bit more extreme than the other. But I'm more worried about our country and the policies they were going to establish here than what I care about what they do with Israel.
You brought this up, man.
I know. I did bring it up.
Yeah.
I forget why I brought it up, to be honest.
Because I was telling you that Donald Trump lied about just targeting illegal immigrants when he's specifically going after legal status. You have one instance where you could say it's semi-justified when it's actually not, because guess what? He still won in court. Mahmoud Khalil is still here in the United States and won in court, is actively winning in court in regards to the his legal status being revoked. He's still here. He's still allowed to be here, still allowed to go back to school, see his wife and his child that was born here in the United States. So that must really get your goat that also now he has an American-born child, right?
Why would I care about that? If you come here legally, I don't care what race you are. That's all I care about. If they come in legally, that's all that matters.
But that's not what Donald Trump cares about. You want to know why that Donald Trump is going after pulling status of legal immigrants?
I would say you probably don't know either, but you're going to
make a supposition.
You're going to read into his mind and tell me
there's actually like more things to do with that. It's actually kind of easy because they can find them.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why they're going to immigration hearings, to pick them up as they're leaving or going to those hearings, which is the legal process. Yes, dude. Do you understand? Like, they had legal status that then was revoked by the State Department. So he's doing it because he can find them. Because guess what? Illegal immigrants are an unknown variable. We just have a guess about where they exist in the country. We have no actual proof that they're actually there. He just wants to get rid of all of them. He doesn't care. Yeah. He's just doing it to pad his numbers, to make himself feel good, look good, whatever it want to be. But it doesn't really matter because he's still being a POS when it comes to that.
First off, the last 4 years they let in, I think you said they've only let in 1 million people the last 4 years, which is crazy. I mean, it's been over 10 million people, and he's going after those people. I don't care if it's, I don't
What's an
care if it's
encounter? What's an encounter?
at the border.
What's an encounter?
It's when the Border Patrol finds someone at the border. And Joe
And
Biden
does their
they
job.
did catch and release. They did catch and release.
They're
and
doing
when
catch and
Trump
release
came in,
now.
no, they're
Donald
not.
Trump
No,
has
they're not.
always
They're doing
done catch
return.
and release.
He's done. He reestablished the turn.
Cool. So what is the
return to
difference
Mexico
between,
law.
let's see if you know this then. So you assume that they're doing catch and release. You have actually no proof of it because an encounter means that they stop somebody from coming into this country. And then you have apprehensions and then you have deportations. So while I can agree with you that there was a high number of encounters, 8.4 million in total during the Biden administration, you couldn't even tell me or even try to tell me how many of them were actually let into the country unless you believe that 8.4 million immigrants were just 100%. So then you don't know what you don't know what an apprehension is then.
Please explain me. I mean, please explain.
Nope.
I mean, there's obviously millions of people that people don't even see sneaking into our country, and that's why I'm saying that having a president that says you're not welcome here, that shuts off the flow, a good percentage of the flow right there.
That's a supposition.
Well, that's the truth.
That's you making an assumption now. So you want to say that like I was getting into Donald Trump's head. Well, now you're trying to get in the minds of, I don't know, an untold millions numbers of individuals that have ever considered coming into the United States of America.
Why aren't they coming up like they were under Biden?
Sir, they still are. They're just finding other avenues to come in through the border. They're not trying to come here through a port of entry now. Oh, yeah, because again, there's a difference between encounters and crossings, because crossings aren't quantifiable. Nobody keeps track of how many people actually have been allowed into the country unless they're coming here on an actual visa that was issued through the State Department of the United States of America. But when it comes through border crossings, whether it's at the northern border or the southern border, they don't track it because they just don't. So they keep track of encounters, which according to CBP on their website would be anybody that's trying to cross into the country through, whether or not through a port of entry that they find, stop, and then they've also determined it to somehow be illegal and they repatriate them back to their countries or they send them back to Mexico. Wow, this is all according to CBP and their definitions of what an encounter is. So even by that, all you can say is that the 8.4 million that were encountered under, guess what, Biden's administration, according to CBP's own definitions of the words that they use, the terminology that they keep track of, all of them were rejected according to CBP and their definitions.
All of them were rejected and they weren't let back in the country?
So what I do is I go based off of CBP's numbers and I go based off of the primary source. And I actually went through and I read their definitions, right? So yeah, when it says that they've rejected them, that's how they keep track of the encounters, then abso-fucking-lutely. Because at that point, I would have to now believe, if you're saying I can't trust those numbers, then I must also believe that I can't trust anything that's currently being reported by CBP right now under the Trump administration.
So
thank you, Texas, for the flower.
So if that's the case, 8.4 million people they rejected. They said, hey, we caught you at the border. We're going to turn you around and you go back to Mexico.
According to their own definitions, yeah.
Yes, they did do that. Can you tell me when they started doing that policy? Because when Biden first got into office, he completely changed all the immigration policies.
With what? Can you give me? Remain in Mexico, just so you know, remain in Mexico only affected legal immigration. It affected legal asylum seekers. And it only affected about 65,000 of them. And I'm not done. I'm not done. I'm not done. I'm not done. Remain in Mexico policy was actually revoked by a Supreme Court ruling that allowed them to revoke it. And the reason why it was revoked is because, guess what, sir? I'm not done. I'm not done. Oh, it's currently under lawsuit right now.
Hold
So
on.
thank you.
First
But
off,
I'm
the
not
Supreme
done.
Court can
I am
say
not
it's
done.
illegal,
Okay.
but then
If
the
you're
next
just going to
president
keep
can say
talking
it's
over me,
illegal.
I will just keep talking anyways. So the Remain in Mexico policy was a troublesome policy to start with, again, because it only affected legal immigration, legal asylum seekers, only affected 65,000 individuals that were just legal asylum seekers trying to come into the country, right? And then not only that, it created a humanitarian crisis in Mexico because we had individuals that are not from Mexico that were then required to stay in little encampments within Mexico, having known nobody there, right? Where they might have actually known people within the United States of America. We don't know those cases. And then we saw over 3,000 women and children being sold into sex trafficking, murdered, raped, right? All within that little encampment because people are fucking abusive and they knew where to find them. So it created a humanitarian crisis, which is why even now Mexico isn't doing Remain in Mexico. They're not letting them stay within Mexico right now. They're not. They're not staying within Mexico.
Well, I just looked it up online, and you're wrong. Of course, you're lying.
Oh, yeah?
Biden ended the return to Mexico policy in 2021, which said asylum seekers had to stay in Mexico until the process was done. And then shortly after, when he was getting demolished in the polls, he was going to lose, he started
Supreme Court sides with the Biden administration in Remain in Mexico case, June 30th, 2022. Again, so U.S. Supreme Court handed the Biden administration a victory, allowing to rescind the Trump-era Remain in Mexico policy. The vote was 5-4. Chief Justice John Roberts wrote the court's opinion and was joined by the liberal justices, along with Kavanaugh. Yeah, Kavanaugh.
You're proving my point.
So again, the Supreme Court is the one that allowed it to end and made sure that it could in fact end because of the humanitarian crisis that it created at the southern border.
What about the humanitarian crisis
and
in our
fucking
country?
tastic.
You proved my point on that, but okay.
What was my claim?
You proved once again Trump had this policy.
What was my claim in countersuit to your claim?
It went to the Supreme Court because someone sued him over it, and then the Supreme Court sided with Biden. If Biden never ended the policy, they would have never went to the Supreme Court. That's why Trump was able to reestablish it.
No, it's not. You want to know why? Because again, it's under suit right now, and Mexico isn't keeping any American asylum seekers in their country. Again, asylum is a legal process, and the only thing it affected, see, this is where you guys have it completely wrong because you said it somehow stopped illegal immigration, and it didn't. It only affected legal asylum seekers and created a humanitarian crisis at the southern border in Mexico. So unless you're going to say...
rather in Mexico than our country.
Oh, yeah, so you don't give a shit about women or children, right? You don't. Good, as long as it's in Mexico and not in our country. So you don't care about people. Got it. Okay. Really quickly, guys. I'm going to mute up on TikTok. Don't go anywhere. Let's get up. We should have already been at 100,000 likes. What are y'all doing? Stop slacking. Hold on. Okay. Everybody over on YouTube and Twitch, I just want to do a friendly reminder, a friendly PSA. Today we are fundraising on Cash App and Venmo and PayPal. If you are able to give, this is going to help an 8 and 10-year-old child escape an abusive situation that they are currently in Kentucky and get them to Florida. So if you are so able to do it, every little bit helps. And I would greatly appreciate helping out the individual. It is also helping out an Army veteran, so I would super appreciate that as well. Again, this is to help an 8 and 10-year-old child get out of an abusive situation that they are currently in Kentucky and get them to Florida to assist also an Army veteran. So anything you guys are able to do, I do appreciate it. And just a friendly reminder, for YouTube, if you become a member or you send a super chat, that does go right up on the screen. I do address it. I will read it out to you as well. And then same thing over on Twitch. If you subscribe or able to subscribe, which you guys can do for free if you have Amazon Prime, just let me know. Okay? And that will also go up on the screen. You get a little pop-up that jumps up and down. It's pretty cool. Oh, don't worry, guys. Everything that I collect will, guess what? There will be proof of it within my Discord server. So you can say that, but there will be proof of it being sent. So don't worry, it's cool.
You're awesome.
All right. Okay. So TikTok, if you guys see my moderators in the chat, they will let you know what I was just talking to the other side about that I can't do while I'm unmuted on TikTok, because TikTok is a very upsetty spaghetti app that gets very jealous of other things. So there you go. Megan just said it in the chat. This is what we're doing. We are trying to help an 8 and 10-year-old children out of an abusive situation and get them from Kentucky to Florida. Anything you guys send is greatly appreciated. I appreciate you so much. Talman, I'm behind, but the guy who discussed, the very first one, the border crossing, he didn't understand the term anecdotal. Trump supporters forget about facts. I believe Fox News is the worst thing to happen to America. I would totally understand that. Yeah, they kind of are. I don't disagree with you on that one. I agree. And thank you so much, Wild, for the 10 on the Red app. I do appreciate that so much. Guys, every little bit helps for us to assist the situation. We're just trying to help protect children and assist an Army veteran here. So I do appreciate that. And again, receipts will be up in my Discord server. But we're going to go ahead and open back up these phone lines. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Awesome. How old are you?
To me? I'm 18. What's the problem with that? Just honest question.
Because I feel like a bully. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there? Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Yeah, hello.
Hi, how old are you?
Hi, I'm 29.
Awesome. Did you vote for Trump?
I did.
Do you still support him?
I'm not gonna lie, there's quite a few things out of left field that he's done that I don't agree with, but overall, I would say so. I think he's really sketchy with the Epstein list stuff, but the border is definitely something I'd like to continue debating with you. This is my first time on the stream, but you know what I mean.
Gotcha. So what has Donald Trump done to actually improve the border?
40% of women they have reported rape when they are brought over by the cartels, coyotes and whatnot. And because I am a real feminist, I would prefer for women to not get raped by coming over illegally. And the numbers ever since Trump has gone in office has absolutely plummeted. There is zero illegal immigration virtually compared to what Biden's administration did. And I think that's saving a lot of women from being raped. I also
we don't know for sure if that's saving women from experiencing a tragic sexual assault, because all that means is that
we don't believe all women.
I am not. Excuse me, sir. Do not even try. No, do not even try to pigeonhole me into that comment, because if you want to go down there, then no, sir. Now I'm going to be fucking pissed off, because guess what? Who the fuck did you vote for? Did you vote for Donald Trump?
Yes, because I don't want women raped.
Then why? Okay, no, you're going to stop saying RAPE. Right? It's called Grape because TikTok is a sensitive fucking app. Now, believe all women, right? You believe all women? You believe I just told you. It's a purple fruit. It's called grape. Awesome. You believe all women, right? How about this name? E. Jean Carroll. You voted for an adjudicated sexual assaulter. You want to go down that road?
I'm sorry.
You want to go down that road? Oh, I was not speaking very fast.
All I know is
E. Jean Carroll. No. Hold on.
Look at all these Mexican women.
So what you're going to do here is you're going to answer my question, Mr. Believe All Women. E. Jean Carroll. You voted for an adjudicated sexual assaulter. So do you not believe all women? Got it. So you're not aware of the 27 sexual assault allegations against Donald Trump? Oh no, see, the difference is I care about every single individual. Donald Trump doesn't give a fuck about them. Donald Trump has defunded the actual human trafficking cause that he supposedly gives a fuck about. He defunded them. How about that, sir? But you don't care. You're unaware. You say believe all women, and you want to say that to me, a fucking woman. You want to claim that you, sir, are a feminist, and you want to make a yell at me about believe all women when all I'm talking about is that we have no idea that there's actually zero illegal immigrants being trafficked across the border. There's literally zero proof of that anywhere, that there's completely zero illegal immigration being attempted at the southern border. Absolutely zero. So because when I say I believe all women, it's because of the fact that because we don't know about how many people are here, we don't get to hear their stories. You are making a broad-based assumption saying that therefore, because there's no illegal immigration, there's no illegal border crossing coming across the border. Oh, I'm aware, Jim. It's okay. That there's therefore no women being sexually assaulted. That's absolutely not fucking true, because we just don't know about the women now being sexually assaulted because we don't have the opportunity to speak to them and hear their stories, because they're still going to be experiencing sexual assault. I'm sure you're also somebody that also supported the Remain in Mexico policy that Donald Trump just reinstituted, right? With his executive order is attempting to reinstitute a policy that that caused over 3,000 women and children to experience sexual assault and human trafficking in Mexico at the hands of these cartels, but you don't actually care about them, so it's not actually believe all women. You didn't do anything to look in to the fact that Donald Trump has 27 sexual assault allegations against him, one that he actually lost in a civil court, that Donald Trump is an actual adjudicated sexual assaulter. So don't you try to call yourself a feminist, and don't you try to come up here and scream or try to preach at me believe all women. You're a fucking liar. Get off your fucking high horse that doesn't exist. Thank you, CJ, so much for the green app donation. And thank you, Ryan, as well, for the blue app donation. I really appreciate that. This is going to go directly to the Army veteran to bring the 8 and 10-year-old from Kentucky to Florida, where they will be safe. Sorry. You're going to piss me off when you pivot to that, because you can't take the fact that I'm asking you to provide proof that there's zero illegal immigration. Illegal immigration, and you go, oh, you don't believe all women? You're not going to try to make it a straw man on me by completely changing the entire conversation. Sorry, that was a huge pivot. That wasn't a straw man. That was just a pivot in the conversation. If you can't understand how that was a fucking pivot, then your ears aren't open and your eyes are fucking closed. Don't try to say that shit to me. You ain't no fucking feminist voting for Donald fucking Trump. You fucking kidding me? Phone lines are back open. Thank you for calling the stream. Are you there? Dude, stop trolling. Get a fucking life, bro. For the last time, I'm not speaking to an 18-year-old. I'm sorry. You were why? Because you were born in 2007, meaning that you didn't vote, and I try to speak to voters who still support Donald Trump. Lord have mercy. This is why you support Donald Trump, because you don't understand boundaries. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there? I got you, Tara.
Hi, I'm here. Hi.
Hi, how old are you?
I'm 21.
Did you vote for Trump?
I voted for Kamala, but I do agree with Trump on the border policy.
Okay, bye. Is that? I haven't heard it yet, Arcane. I honestly haven't heard that one yet. So that could be true. I don't know. I have not heard that one yet. Never heard of it before, so. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there? Hello? Thank you for calling the stream. Are you there? Get a fucking life. That is so annoying. Like, why are you going to continue to pull it up? Like, do you just have fun saying slurs? You do realize that actually falls under hate speech, which is not protected by the First Amendment? Are you not aware of that? Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
I can. How old are you?
Me, I'm 18 years old.
Sorry, I don't talk to 18-year-olds anymore. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Oh, yes. Hello?
Hi,
Sorry.
how old are you?
I think I hung up last time on accident.
Okay. How old are you?
25.
Did you vote for Trump?
No, but I do have a question about strategy-wise, I guess, for you.
You can call back on Wednesday. I'll be doing friendly-only conversations, but thank you. Just saying. Yeah, no, I'm not. So for the guys for people that are wondering, the reason why I'm not going to speak to an 18-year-old, specifically one that was born in 2007, unless they were born on November 4th, 2007, they didn't vote. Actually, no, that 2000, sorry. Yeah, they wouldn't even be 18 yet. So they would have had to have been born by, like, they didn't vote. And you guys notice how that's the first question that I ask people after their age. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there? Get a fucking life, dude. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you.
Awesome. How old are you?
47.
Did you vote for Trump?
I did. Yes.
All right. Do you still support him?
I still support Trump, although there are some things that I do disagree with him on. But I do want to. I listened to what some of your callers are talking about in regards to immigration, and I do have a question for you specifically, because you did reference something that's quite interesting. When you talked about the Remain in Mexico policy, which the Biden administration in 2021 ended, you are correct. The Supreme Court in Biden versus Texas in 2022 actually said, hey, they can end this policy. But you brought up about what it caused in regards to the correlation and causation of grape. And so what I have a question about specifically is, are you specifically saying that because of that particular policy, this was a direct correlation of what happened, or are you just saying that's an indirect correlation of what happened in regards to grape?
They were targeted because of where they were placed at within Mexico, which is why the Mexican government said that they wouldn't reinstitute that policy in order to keep them within Mexico. Because even now with Donald Trump's executive order, they're not staying in Mexico. They're not, right? So yes, sir, it created an international humanitarian crisis, which is why the policy ended in the first place. And also, it was a lie to tell people that Donald Trump said that he did it, that it affected illegal immigration when it didn't. All it did was affect legal asylum seekers. And it had a very small reaching impact. And thank you, Tara, for the blue app. I do appreciate that. Again, it only affected legal asylum seekers, and it had a very small impact of only 65,000 individuals.
Sure, and I understand exactly what you're saying. The point that I was getting at specifically is to make a correlation of that. There probably was an indirect correlation. However, being on Mexican soil, it would be on Mexican authorities' ability to deal with that appropriately. So trying to directly say that Trump is the exact reason why that happened, while I do agree there is indirect correlation to that, there is still not a direct correlation because you have the Mexican authorities that have some liability in dealing with it. That being said, they struggle.
And so does Donald Trump. So does the Trump administration have a liability because they're the one that instituted the policy that made it occur within Mexico. Donald Trump is not innocent. Is that what you're trying to say? That he is completely innocent of the atrocities that occurred within that encampment of the 65,000 legal asylum seekers that were seeking asylum within the United States? He's completely absolved of any wrongdoing or any knowledge of that because he just is the one that signed the executive order for the policy. Is that what you're telling me? He has nothing to do with it?
Not what I'm telling you. What my point was is that you were directing as if it was his, or at least that's the optics of how it came out. My point was it was not just one thing, it was multiple. It's a multifactorial issue.
Yeah, which is why I say specifically that the Remain in Mexico policy created a humanitarian crisis because over 3,000 women and children experience rape, sexual assault, human trafficking, and schmurder.
Yeah.
As a result of the policy being enacted. And it put an untold burden on the Mexican government and the Mexican police force to assist the United States in illegal asylum seekers being held within Mexico for their court date that could not potentially come for the next 2 to 4 years, potentially up to 10 years. That now that they're responsible for keeping track of them for the entire time.
Yes.
An undue burden on them.
The court date would be that long. 100% agree with you. Court systems, immigration systems are absolutely backed up. There is very much truth to that. If somebody comes in specifically right now, yes, it is 2, 3, 4 years. It also, you may have some people with TPA status. You may have some people with asylum status specifically that are in play. And I don't disagree with that particular notion. Whether or not that is a great policy, a bad policy, we could argue that back and forth. I do agree that there are a lot of indirect consequences that come out of that. I also would argue the point back is that some of those issues already were taking place irregardless of that. And that doesn't justify it in any way, but you still have the cartel operating, doing all of those things, which the Mexican government cannot control or cannot deal with effectively at this point in time. But
we also have no evidence that people that are attempting to claim asylum actually suffer those assaults on a regular basis on their attempt to make it to the border. Because if they have a legal asylum claim, they should be allowed to stay within the United States until their other court date or to get their final hearing. Because that's what they came here for, was for safe treatment, right? Because they were escaping some kind of situation in their home country. Okay, so we have no evidence or no factual data that would say that these asylum seekers would have experienced that if they were actually allowed into the United States. So you would have to make the opposite claim as well. Because we have no proof or data that would support the fact that they for sure already experienced that prior to making the trip to the southern border, or that they would have never experienced it if they were allowed into the United States, which I'm not making that claim either on either way. I'm saying we just don't know. The fact is the policy had horrific consequences to individuals that were forced to remain in Mexico outside of their home country, which should have never happened. And you're now trying to correlate it with cartels, and we all know that they do horrible shit. There is absolutely no denying that. They definitely do horrible stuff to the people that they are supposedly helping. 100%, no denying that whatsoever. They're not good people. However, we also have no evidence that the cartels were assisting individuals that were coming to America to seek asylum. Usually they're the individuals that are getting people over the border illegally. All of the 65,000 individuals that came to seek asylum that were affected by the Remain in Mexico policy were encountered or met with Border Patrol and then were told to turn around and sit back in Mexico.
Sure, and I'm not disagreeing with that particular fact. That is a very well-documented truth of that. The point I was making is you have, besides that policy, you also have the Mexican government who failed to deal with that issue at hand, too. And that's why I said it's a multifactorial. I didn't say that it was. My correlation and causation is that it's not just it's not that policy that directly created that issue, because those issues of human trafficking and those issues, for instance, you can go to the Polaris Project and look about how cartels do recruitment, trying to smuggle and get people across the border, and a lot of times it's women and children that ends up in that particular scenario. My point was just simply that it's two countries that didn't deal with the issue in a manner that should have been dealt with better. That's really what my point was.
Mexico called for the ending of the policy, which is why Mexico said that they would never reinstitute it, and they're still not keeping them in Mexico now.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, Mexico couldn't control it even if they wanted to, so I could directly understand why they would never do that, because they don't have the manpower or the federales the ability to actually monitor that situation in a manner that is going to protect those people, even if you could do it. So I do understand where Mexico's coming from. What I do have a question about specifically from you, when we talk about immigration, we talk about things like between 1.5 and 1.7 getaways. We do talk about border encounters. Those were people who got sent back. But when we talk about 1.7 getaways, how do you adjudicate that in regards to the Biden administration effectively doing its job? And when you look at somewhere the estimate of people who were admitted into the country to go to courts, specifically those courts that were backed up, it's somewhere between 8 to 10.8 million. When you look at the Obama administration, it was about 3.3. So why do you believe that there was such a drastic change?
I'm sorry, where are we finding an 8.8 million admission?
Do what?
Where are you finding an 8.8 million admissions under the Biden administration?
Sure, yeah, not a problem. There's a couple of things. The 1.7 known gotaways specifically comes from...
That was such a cute gift! Oh my god, I'm so sorry, Moose. That was such a cute gift on TikTok. Holy shit. That was so cute. I've never seen that one before. I'm sorry. Okay, where am I looking for this 8.8 million admissions?
I will have to pull that one back up, and I apologize. I don't have it sitting right in front of me. But I do have the 1.7 getaways. That is under the... you can actually go to House Committee on the Budget. That's,
oh, yeah, the House Committee, which, by the way, cites over 40 times FAIR and CIS. Do you know those two?
I understand what they're citing. I'm only reading you what the actual report is, whether or not...
Yeah, and they also misquoted the actual DHS report that came out April of 2024, where it says that there's an estimated 11 million undocumented, unauthorized, illegal immigrants living within the United States over the last 40 years. 80% of which came in prior to 2010, where, they misstated that. They said 4 years. Like, the committee literally took out the 0 out of the 40 and then tried to quote DHS. And you're okay with them citing FAIR, which is considered extremely unreliable, right? They're marked as a right-wing heavy extremist when it comes to immigration policy. Same with CIS, because both of them were started by a man with his, I don't remember his first name, but his last name is Thornton, who said that the only immigration that he supports is from Europe, meaning white people.
Look,
they have low credibility, and they cited them over 40 times. They didn't cite
Sure.
any credible source when it actually came to that, right?
I haven't looked at it, so I haven't looked at the sources they were specifically citing.
You should.
I'd be happy to do such.
Yeah, you should.
But I mean, if we're talking about Homeland Security statistics, then it's somewhere. If you're talking about unauthorized immigrant population, their estimate is somewhere around 11 million specifically. And that comes directly from their.
I know. I
from
have
2018
the
to 2022, roughly.
correct. But did you? Oh, thank you, Dak, so much for that. And also, I think I said thank you to Tara already. I did. Okay. So, did you actually look at that? Because again, the report goes back to 1982, and they reference within that 80% of that 11 million came in before 2010.
I have not directly looked at it, but
Yeah,
I will go
people
back
get
and
stuck on the
specifically look at it.
2018 to 2022, when if you actually look at it, it's 11.6 million over the last 40 years.
Yeah, from about 2010. So just looking at it right now, I mean,
No,
you can,
40
you can see
years
based
is
on the
not, it's
2010
it actually
census.
went back to 1982. Their data went back to the 1980s. That's why it's over 40 years. It's 11.6 million over 40 years.
Yeah, with the majority of them being somewhere between 2000 and
Nope,
and
majority of them were just
2022.
before 2010. 79% to be exact before 2010.
That's what I'm saying. If you look at 2000, 2009, and specifically where it talks about numbers,
So it's from
between 2000 and
1982 to
Right.
2010 is that 80%. It's not just between 2008, 2009, 2010. It's not just 2 years.
I mean, these numbers are pretty close. 1980, 1990, 1.56. 1990 to 1999, 3.8. This is as of 2018. 2000, 2009, 4.23. And 2010, 1.960. So that's not 80%. Might be 50, but it's not 80, according to page one. Let me see, what page is this? Page 6,
point this
specifically in that report.
Yeah, page 5. The size of the unauthorized immigration population arrived since 2010 declined by 280,000 from 2018 to 2020, then grew by 630,000 from 2020 to 2022. That's table 1, figure 2. The vast majority of the population, 79%, entered before 2010, but the percentage is declining. Now it's 83% as of 2018 as new unauthorized entrants and earlier entrants immigrate unalive or become legal residents, right? So yeah, you can look at this and you have to understand that the numbers are also because deportations occurred during that time as well.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes, there were, what is it, the Obama, I believe there was,
1980, guys.
I don't know what, in Obama, without just looking directly at the numbers. Wasn't it somewhere near 3 million? Somewhere between 1.5 to 3 million?
Oh, are
Give
you
or take.
talking
don't know
about
exactly without looking.
deportations?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. He had about 3.4 million, if I remember correctly. But
how many
I'm
were in
just
the
curious. Do you know
interior?
what the government's fiscal year is?
Yeah, the government, yeah, geez, let me get it out of it. It is not a standard fiscal year in regards to, if I remember, I've got to look at the dates right off the top of my head. I want to say their fiscal year goes from September to September, I think, if I remember off the top of my head.
It's October 1st through September
through
30th.
September?
It's October
that's-
1st through September 30th. So when you're looking at these years, you have to remember that the crossover period is actually going to be October 1st, 1979. And then again, like for 2009, it's really October 1st, 2008.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, obviously their fiscal year is in that there's going to be some, I would say, dead period or gray period between the end of the year and that particular fiscal part of when the year starts. But I guess my question really is why do you believe between Obama's administration and Biden's administration, there was a relatively drastic difference in individuals crossing into the border, having border encounters, and are being released into the country, many under some form of either TPA or under some other asylum form or other status comparative. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, so there's actually, I like how you conveniently left out Donald Trump's first administration, who also experienced a crisis at the border where Donald Trump in May 2019 had to go out on national television and beg Congress to do something because he hadn't done anything about the southern border, and it was just going up, 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 up in encounters. And then it only dropped for like a couple of months after he begged them. And then after April of 2020, it also started going up, 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 up. Even though, you know, the graph that Donald Trump went out on tour with when he was re-campaigning for 2024 somehow says that he left office in April 2020. If anybody actually looked at that graph, somehow Donald Trump left office in April of 2020, just so you guys know. Anyways, so there was a multitude. It's because Donald Trump didn't do anything for a hot minute. And then under C-19, we had a national health emergency that went into effect. Title 42 went into effect. So the part of that created a dam, right? And then after Title 42 was ended by the United States Supreme Court on May 11, 2023, we saw an influx occur right after that. But even then, before then, we were seeing an influx coming to the border again after April 2020, right? We saw the influx start to go back up. Even under Donald Trump's administration, it was on a steady increase after it had just been on a decline. The other reason for that, in my opinion, is also the fault of national news media. Because unfortunately, what they went about doing was telling every single person, and this includes all sides of the media, right? Sure. That they were telling everybody in America every single day that the border was wide open. And so people hear that, they think about it, and they believe it. So they're saying to themselves, oh, the border is open, so let me make a trip. So the media perpetuated the issue even further.
I'm sorry. Can I respond, or I'm just not trying to cut you off?
Yeah.
I would agree with you that the media helped perpetuate quite a bit of issues there. I would also say that some more lax border policies, and this isn't just a Democrat issue, this is also a Republican issue, that have existed in the past 50 years or so, also contribute to that significantly.
What policy
It's interesting, though, that we do have a little bit of a slowdown in encounters. I'm not saying
it's not that interesting. It was already occurring. It was already on a downward trend.
Generally, from 2024, I think it was 20. It breaks out to be like 23 or 2,400 encounters a day.
It was
about
already on a downward trend before Biden left office.
So you believe that it would have somewhere dropped roughly 50% between the time, regardless, is what you're saying. I'm just asking.
No, I'm just pointing out the fact that it was already on a downward trend. So, right? Okay. So August 2024, it was 107. September, it was 101. October, it went up slightly to 106. November, 94, 96, 61. Right? That's when Biden left. Was at 61. And then now we're 11, 11, 12, 12, 9, 7.
Mm-hmm. But the question that comes out of that is specifically, why is that? Is it because of the optics?
I don't do a whataboutism. Like, you would have to point me in direct, like, what are they counting? This is just stopping people that, right? Like, this means, again, so I've never, like, CBP numbers being reported when they were high just meant that CBP was literally doing their job and rejecting people at the border, stopping them, rejecting them, sending them out, and refusing them entry into the United States. That's what that means, right? So I 100% agree that encounters are down. There is no arguing that because I actually believe statistics and data. from the primary resource. Right?
Sure, yeah.
Cool. So with that, I have no idea exactly like what would have happened if somebody else was president. I don't do those whataboutisms in that regard because there's no telling. I do know part of the issue with Biden is that he was trying to rely heavily on Congress, right? So within his first week of office, Congress, the Democrats in Congress introduced H.R. 1177 in January of 2021. That failed in Congress to go through. That would have actually changed and updated our entire immigration policy. That would have also slowed down the encounters at the southern border. More than likely. However, again, he relied way too heavily on Congress to do something because just like what I tell everybody every day is that the only way to make an effective change here is to change our immigration policies from the absolute start. So rebuild them from the ground up.
I actually would 100% agree with you on that. I think that is one of the biggest issues that we have, is that we have an immigration system that for the past 50 or 60 years has been relatively broken. And so what we get out of that is we have issues that have come out of that, being whether it's remain in Mexico or other issues that have happened because we have an immigration system that is significantly poor. And that's putting it very nicely. So I don't disagree with you on that at all. I do think that that is a major issue, and it is a frustration personally that I have that we have this problem that we can't seem to figure out because it's because the bipartisan opposition is so ridiculous that if one does something that's halfway decent, the other one hates it, and vice versa. And we just can't get a huge gridlock. And I do think that that's sad because it doesn't benefit the American people. It doesn't benefit anybody who is trying to come here and do the right thing. And then we get the pendulum swinging from every direction. We get some people who want everybody in, and we get some people who want nobody in, and we get out of the middle. So I wouldn't disagree with you on that. Is you have to break it completely down and completely revamp the system.
No, you don't have to break it down.
that
We
one.
just need a new piece of legislation to replace it, because breaking it down would mean dismantling it already as it exists now and then not replacing it. You have to already have something in place to put in its spot. You have to have something ready to go.
Yeah, while I agree with you, I don't ever see that happening because they're just too partisan in how the politics are being played out. But I just don't see it coming to fruition, which means that we're going to continue to have some of the issues that we have in place specifically. So. But really, that's what I wanted to kind of understand where you were coming from, and then talk specifically about the immigration side of that. Other than that, I don't have anything else.
All right, man. Well, I hope you have a good night.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep. Bye.
Have a good night as well.
Okay, let's see wild takes from somebody in the other chat. Thank you, Donji, for the $9.99. Malcolm X warned us that the white liberal is the most dangerous. We don't want the word to go out that we want extermination, the end population. Margaret Sanger, she's worse than Trump. Margaret Sanger, yeah, she's a horrible human. Nobody supports her. He followed this up to say further, in 2022, black women had the highest AB rate, 24.4 abortions per 1,000, women aged 15 to 44, and abortion ratio 429 per 1,000 live births. Sanger's goal has come to pass. All right. I like how you purposely left out Malcolm X's quote, right? So let's pull this up. Malcolm X, white in conservative speech. Let's see. It helps if I can not misspell here. Yeah, no, they can't. I'm trying to find that original one. Either way, like, let's be clear, when Planned Parenthood started, because I know that's where he was trying to go, they weren't performing abortions. Planned Parenthood is literally about offering services to all women. They started helping with performing abortions. But that's only a very tiny percentage of what they do. There is not like a mass G-side of one section of the community because white people also obtain abortions. Like, am I missing something here? Did I miss something there? I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure they did, Aslan. Anyways, guys, I'm at my time already for the day. So thank you guys for clearing the live goal on TikTok. 1 second, TikTok. I'm going to mute. Okay. Thank you again, guys, for all of the support on YouTube and Twitch. I am going to go ahead and end because, like I said, I'm at my 2 hours. I hope you guys have a good point. Or a good night. Sorry. It's Sunday. Can't even speak right now. Anyways, y'all have a good night. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the memberships. Don't forget to hit subscribe up at the top. And y'all have a good rest of your Sunday.